And Ishmael is when I started reading these first couple chapters, one of my notes, it is funnier than I expected.
Yeah. Um,
Ishmael is pretty humorous, particularly when he's on the land still, and not on the
yeah.
boat. That humor goes away a little bit, I guess, and if we're supposed to take with that as like some type of, things are more serious because they're on this boat, they could die at any minute type thing. But yeah, I didn't mind the first couple chapters when he meets Queequeg.
Yeah, so Queequeg, really endearing character, especially for like the first, I don't know, how far in would you say? Maybe like the first like quarter of the book
Yeah, the
is
first like
particularly endearing.
60 pages or so, when you start learning about like his kind of religion and then like their friendship that they like blossom, and then him like getting put and honestly when they're even on the ship, like Queequeg is like kind of a noble hero character, right? Like he's saving people that
Yeah.
have fallen overboard, risking his own life. What that scene where the guy slips into the whale and then
Oh,
the
yeah, that was one of
pulleys
my.
give way and the whale's sinking to the bottom with this guy inside of it, and Queequeg like dives in after him and saves him, like cuts the whale open as it's sinking to the bottom of the ocean. So
Yeah.
heroic type shit, like that's like hero type
Yeah, and he
thing.
becomes, very quickly becomes like best buddies with Ishmael. And they decide like that they're going to try to go boating together, right? Like they're going to try to be on the same boat cuz he's just like in this well they meet at this like inn, right? Where there's a bunch of other like whaling guys that are all going to be looking to join.
Various ships
Yeah.
that like take off from it, because I guess it starts in Nantucket, right? Like they're on like the coast of New England in like
They
whaling
don't
towns.
start at Nantucket, but they're like they're close, right? They start somewhere.
Like the New England whaling towns.
Yeah. I don't remember where it was, but yeah, they start somewhere near there and then make their way to Nantucket, and that's where they leave from.
Yeah, one thing I did notice, like, while reading this, and parts of this that were boring, I think the parts that were the most boring were, like I said, right around chapter 9, I start to get a little bit boring, and like I get the Jonah and the whale kind of setup that is happening throughout this, and they take on, Melville takes a lot of pages to set that up with like the sermon and stuff in chapter 9, the kind of like rogue priest that has this little chapel for only
Yeah.
like, whalemen, the type of people that go out on boats for years and then may or may not come back, kind of thing. So I get all that, but I was just like, it was just a tonal shift, I thought, because it was very funny and humorous with like, Ishmael meeting Queequeg and then kind of discovering the kind of rough and tumble like men that work these fishing boats, and then like having to kind of find his place there, and then
Yeah,
it's
and
very
like the
humorous,
organization
almost,
of it
yeah, almost
and like
anthropological, like in the humor kind of.
and who, is sort of at the top of the chain of command and who's sort of at the bottom, at least in terms of like how they get paid, all this stuff. There's this line, and toward the beginning, it's in the first chapter, I think, where he talks about not minding being ordered around by captains and says, "Who ain't a slave? Tell me that." Well, then, however the old sea captains may order me about, however they may thump and punch me about, I have the satisfaction of knowing that it is all right, that everybody else is one way or another served in as much the same way, either in a physical or metaphysical point of view, that is. And so the universal thump is passed round, and all hands should rub each other's shoulder blades and be content. That's
Yeah,
also like a really funny sentence to me. And so the universal thump is passed round.
yeah, that's why I highlighted the passage right after that. Again, I always go to sea as a sailor because they make a point of paying me for my trouble, whereas they never pay passengers a single penny that I ever heard of. On the contrary, passengers themselves must pay, and there is all the difference in the world between paying and being paid.
Yeah.
Like, it was very like humorous, and he's like, yeah, kind of in this town that he hadn't been in before, but he knows he wants to get on a ship. He's got some sailing experience, not so much whaling experience, but like sailing.